the WDWL TV multiplex live from the corner studio. It's the grumpy old man. Little different opening tonight because Grumpy is going to do a commentary on some disgusting news stories that I've read in the last 2 days. And it just goes to show how sad society has gotten. Yes. And first, we're going to start out with a news story out of Palisades, California, with the wildfires that are going on, burning thousands and thousands of acres, not to mention millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of homes. And then we get a situation where fires have skipped over some multi-million-dollar homes. And these people are lucky. Except now there's a problem where the homes that have not been consumed by the wildfires are being consumed by fucking looters. And one home was looted of over $200,000 worth of goods, furniture, collectibles, you name it. You know, if it isn't bad enough, people are being devastated by the loss of their homes, only to find out that their home was spared, and then to come home to a house that has been emptied by fucking thieves. Yes. There have been multiple arrests. They have caught several of these looters. And the governor wants an emergency meeting of both the House and the Senate because he wants to pass stricter laws on punishment for people that are as goddamn disgusting to prey upon citizens who were lucky enough not to have their house taken by fire, but instead to have their house emptied by fucking low-life assholes. Is this what we've turned into? We go out and we literally clean out our fellow man's house because we're greedy bastards. More like worthless, low-life slime. These people were basically overjoyed to get the news that their house was spared from the wildfire, only to return home to find it was not spared by fucking gutter trash. Is this what society is producing today? They don't want to ask Grumpy what kind of punishment to put these people through. Because if it was up to Grumpy, I would tie them all to trees in the middle of the wildfire zone and wave goodbye. And then probably spray a little gasoline around the trees that they're tied to. Because that's the punishment I feel they deserve. But all these bleeding heart liberals are be like, oh, no, you can't punish them that way. I actually think they should bring back hanging. Or maybe, even better yet, firing squad. That's what they deserve for punishment. Utterly goddamn disgusting lowlifes. These people were mentally tormented having to evacuate their house and not knowing if they were going to return to a home or a pile of fucking ashes. I hope they get the maximum goddamn punishment. If it was me, I'd cut off their hands. But of course, that wouldn't be politically correct. Well, people, all you bleeding hearts that say, oh, Grumpy, you're an asshole. Stop and think, maybe. How would you feel if you went through the torment of not knowing whether the wildfires consumed your house, and then you're allowed to go back into the housing development? You're like, oh my God, our house has been saved. It wasn't touched. To open the door and it be bare, wall to wall, room by room. Stop and think about that, you bleeding hearts. Oh, we can't go back to that type of punishment. It's cruel and unusual. I think it's cruel and unusual what they did to these people. Society is just, it's getting worse. What is with this light? The lighting engineers have been... Well, that wasn't the light that I wanted, but we'll use it anyway. Moving on. Here's another good one for you. Down in Volusia County, Florida, there were some 8-year-old kids minding their own business, riding their bikes. As they rode into the entrance of their housing development, there were two dogs sitting, watching the kids riding their bikes. So one of the 8-year-olds bends down to pet one of the dogs. At which point, both of the dogs attack and maul this 8-year-old to death. The dogs were captured by animal control. There is now a court case because the owners refuse to sign these dogs over to the county to be euthanized. What kind of fucking owners are these? Their two dogs just killed an 8-year-old who basically extended his hand to pet one of them. And they not only killed him, they ripped him to shreds. And the owner's like, oh no, you're not going to euthanize my dogs. Here's some grumpy justice. Maybe we find a pair of the most brutal, uncontrollable pit bulls, and we put them in a pen. And then we throw the owner or owners of these two dogs into the pen. And let's see how they feel. They're two dogs literally mauled to death a defenseless 8-year-old boy, and they're fighting to retain ownership of these two vicious animals, telling the county, oh, something must have provoked them. Well, there are multiple reports that these two dogs have been roaming a couple of counties, leaving dead animals in their wake. The two of them recently got into a chicken coop and killed every chicken in the coop. And these are, oh, my defenseless, cute little pets. Now, I'm a pet owner. I own a cat, not a mountain lion. And I know how I would feel having to turn my cat over to be euthanized. But God damn it, if my cat killed somebody, hey, as much as I love pets, see you, buddy. Because that animal can no longer be trusted. yeah, I would have a goddamn hard time turning my animal over. But if my animal was responsible for the death of an 8-year-old, it's time to say goodbye. And the owners of these two dogs are fighting to keep their dogs. Are these people sick or what? Are they mentally deranged? I wouldn't trust those two dogs as far as I could throw them. And they're arguing, oh, the dogs were provoked. An 8-year-old reaching down to pet a dog is provoking it. Oh. I'm speechless. If I was the owner of those two dogs, I'd be, hey, get them out of my sight. But no. They're arguing, going to court to retain ownership of their beloved pets. Your two beloved pets killed a defenseless 8-year-old boy. And not just killed him, ripped them to shreds. What is with people today? I mean, there's several videos of their dogs mauling this kid. And they're denying that their dogs are vicious. Video don't lie. And you're going to deny those are your two dogs? Oh, no, those are not. No. I'm at a loss for words. I just am at a loss for words. Why people like this would want to, I wouldn't want to go near them dogs, let alone bring them back to my house and trust them. It's obvious. These dogs need to be put down because once they taste blood like that, there's no trusting them anymore. Oh, society's going to hell in a handbasket. Jesus Christ. Then on a little different note, I heard the news today that Walgreens is going to be closing 1,000 of their stores. 1,000. And that is just the beginning of their downsizing. Maybe if Walgreens would take a look at their pricing, it would explain why they're losing business. Because Walgreens is unbelievably expensive. And you know, it's a shame that by closing 1,000 stores this year, and this is just the start of their store closings, how many people are going to be out of jobs? And then, how many seniors are going to have to find new places to get their prescriptions filled? And some of these stores that Walgreens is closing is the only drugstore in town. The one citizen that they interviewed said, if they close this Walgreens, I'm going to have to drive 30 miles one way to get a prescription filled. That's an expensive ride. 60 miles plus the cost of the prescription. And you know, they blame on the internet. What are you blaming the internet for? A lot of prescriptions cannot be filled through the internet. I know. I have a prescription that has to be filled either in person or, if I have it delivered, it has to be signed for and I have to show an ID. I can't just order online and say, hey, ship that to me. Even if I try to use a Canadian pharmacy, because there are Canadian pharmacies that will ship medication across the border, but a lot of people have prescriptions that need to be done in person. So Walgreens, you can't blame the internet. Maybe you should blame your prices, because you're not paying, you know, outstanding wages. Not to mention, in some cities, there's Walgreens everywhere. You kind of overexpanded in some cities and underexpanded other places. But here, the closing of 1,000 stores is going to put thousands of people out of jobs. And this is just the start. And then, which doesn't really bother me too much, Meta, I guess that's the new name for faceplant, Meta. Meta has announced they're going to start with massive layoffs. And this is how they're doing it. they're saying the people that are getting laid off are underperforming employees. I've never heard that term used. Never heard that term. Underperforming employees. What are they underperforming? They're not writing code fast enough? You know, whatever the hell his name is, Zuckerberger's, he was the one that went hiring crazy. He was even warned when Faceplant went on the New York Stock Exchange that he was overemploying. And his attitude was, people need jobs. We need to expand. Well, now, you hired all these people, you expanded, and now you're going to kick them to the curb. More unemployment. How much unemployment can this country stand? Now, I don't know what exactly they do besides writing code, from what I'm told. You're going to lay off all these people, and then you're going to turn around and go, gee, our competition is getting ahead of us now. We got to hire a bunch of people. Did you ever maybe stop and think of getting rid of the overpaid employees? Like all your vice presidents, all your CE this and CE that, and let's get rid of the poor person that is, just scraping to get by paycheck to paycheck. But let's keep the guy that's got 2 or 3 Rolls Royces and, a couple of yachts, house in Switzerland, house in the Bahamas. Yeah, let's keep them. The ones that we're paying, over $500,000 a year, $1 million a year. Oh no, those people are too valuable. We'll kick the poor person to the curb that is just barely making paycheck to paycheck, got a mortgage up the ass, got car payments up the ass, Oh no, we won't keep them. We'll boot them to the curb. Hey, Mark, did you ever stop and think of maybe taking a pay cut? Like a couple $1 million a year to help your company out? You ever think of maybe cutting your wife's pay? All them people in what I call Mahogany Row, the ones that have desks that cost more than a Rolls Royce. Oh no, we keep those people. It's always the little guy that gets booted in the ass. And it's disgusting because the people that are at the top think they're worth every cent that they're getting paid. I read an article recently about a top official in a worldwide company that only came into work 1 day a week. He didn't work from home. He just came in 1 day a week, go through his mail, and that was it. He'd go home or go out on his yacht, swim in the pool in his multi-million-dollar mansion. But no, we get rid of the little guy. The person that could barely afford a tank of gas to drive to work. But we keep the people that are getting the multi-million-dollar salaries. I never quite understood that. The people that are basically making you the money get their asses kicked to the curb. And then some of these top officials get this, what they call a golden umbrella, where basically if they're terminated before the end of their contract, they're guaranteed millions of dollars as a severance package. I'd like to get a couple $1 million severance package myself. We always screw the little guy. And I think it's disgusting with some of the salaries that these top officials in these corporations make. See, they won't publish the salaries that Mark and his wife and all, the upper echelon make. Now, I'm sure if somebody filed a Freedom of Information Act, they would have to divulge it. But you can't just go on, can't gargle it. What does Mark Zuckerberg make a year? What does his wife make a year? What does his CFO make a year? What does his COO make a year? All these CO, you got a CEO and a COO and a CFO and a CMO. And Jesus Christ, you got a C with every letter of the alphabet with an O. And they're all making millions of dollars a year. And you're going to take some poor guy that's barely getting by, and you're going to kick his ass to the curb because you need to downsize. You ever think of downsizing some of your top wage earners? No. Because they're all probably friends and buddies of yours from high school and college, and like, oh, I can't screw my buddy, but gee, I can screw Susie Fabeets, who's working 10, 12 hours a day punching code out for me to keep the department running. Oh no, we'll kick her ass to the curb. All corporations are like this. All of them. The overpaid assholes at the top keep getting overpaid. And the poor people at the bottom get their asses kicked to the curb with a, have a nice day, was nice knowing you. I hope they don't pour clothes on your house. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then, here's another good one for you. Talk about low-life asshole fuckers. Two guys, somewhere in their 20s, in full Amazon outfits, full uniform, Amazon, carrying a box. Go up to the house of a poor retired guy. They ring the bell. He looks out. He sees two guys from Amazon with a box. So he opens the door. They commenced to beat the fuck out of him and rob him of everything that he had. Now, they were caught on video on some of these ding-a-ling doorbells. The problem is they had hoodies on and they had masks. And then the police had the nerve to say to the guy, "Why did you open the door?" They looked like Amazon delivery men. They had the full uniform. They asked him, "Were you expecting a package?" He said, "No, but somebody could have sent me something and forgot to tell me." He said, "You trust your delivery people, especially when you have two from head to toe in Amazon uniforms." Two fucking lowlifes beat a poor retiree and robbed him. And it's obvious this was planned out. They scoped out the neighborhood to see who would be an easy lick. And here's this poor guy minding his own business, answers the door, and gets the fuck beat out of him by two assholes that stole Amazon uniforms and decided to commit robberies. Who the hell do you trust nowadays? Now, luckily, I know my UPS man, I know my FedEx man, I know my letter carrier. I don't get that much from Amazon, maybe a couple packages a year. I would probably be dumb enough to answer the door. Most people would answer their door. Now, there would be some that would go, "I'm not expecting any packages." And see, the police asked the guy, did you ask for an ID? Well, that would be the farthest thing from anybody's mind. Show us your badge. They're wearing the whole goddamn, from the hat all the way down to the shoes. I wouldn't. Although, believe me, I look for ID badges. I do. But I'm the oddball in the group. If you're not wearing an ID badge, I ain't opening the door for you. Leave the package outside. I'll get it later. But the average person isn't thinking like that. And they know Amazon, worldwide corporation, delivery people work 7 days a week. Unsuspecting. Hey. Oh, somebody must have sent me a gift via Amazon. Because Amazon also runs a delivery service for other people, not just Amazon. If Joe Fabit's parts company wants to ship some parts, they can call Amazon. Amazon's like UPS and FedEx. The police, in a way, kind of pissed me off with the interview because they kind of blamed the old man for opening the door. Well, Jesus Christ. They were from head to foot. They had the Amazon hat with the fucking smile on it, and the blue and black with a white stripe Amazon jacket, and everything Amazon. He only opened the door because he trusted what was on the other side of the door. Now with me, if I'm not expecting a package, I answer the door with a little friend. You people probably could figure out who the little friend is. Yeah. It's gotten to be that point where people have to have a little friend nowadays. I guarantee they would have left under a sheet weighing about 5 pounds more than when they got here, because they'd have had a little extra lead in their bloodstream, if you catch my drift. It's getting to be a goddamn sad world when you can't trust the goddamn delivery person nowadays. Show me your ID. What's your blood type? What's the name of your firstborn? What's your grandmother's maiden name? You know, that's about the way you got to answer the door nowadays. Society is just, Jesus Christ. It gets worse every year. I just don't, I'm at a loss for words, people. I'm totally at a loss for words to see where society is going. God damn, back in the day, shit, we didn't lock fucking doors, we didn't close fucking windows. My father, he left the goddamn keys in the car. Now you gotta have fucking doors like Fort Knox, burglar bars, a gun tower up on the roof of your house, landmines. It's getting, oh, talk about sad, Jesus. And, you know, nobody's safe anymore. I have a neighbor that lives about 10, 12 houses from me. She came home from the store. It was dusk, not dark, not light. She pulled in her driveway and pushed the button for her garage door opener. And as she was waiting for the garage door to open, some fucking asshole stuck a gun in her face and told her, "Give me the fucking car." Well, luckily, she got out of the car and he didn't do anything to her except take her car. But there have been instances where people have done everything an asshole wanted and they got blown away. I can see her house from the studio here. Broad daylight. She didn't even see him until he walked up. He must have been hiding around the corner of the garage. And it had to be somebody that knew her. Because it just wasn't by chance he happened to be, you know, on the other side of her garage. There would be no need for him to be on the other side of her garage. So it had to be somebody from this fucking neighborhood. Yes, garage door was about halfway up. And there was a tap on the window. And when she turned, there was a gun in her face. Get out of the car. Well, luckily she scrambled out of the car and he took off. Now, he was kind of a low-life thief because he stole a fucking Chrysler 200. Oh, jeez. Piece of shit car. But it was the only thing she had. She did get it back. Pretty damn close to being a total loss. It was right at that point where the insurance company kind of tossed the coin. Total it or fix it. Of course, now, the place is lit up like Fort Knox. But it's kind of like locking the door after the horse ran away. But it wasn't her goddamn fault. The garage door hadn't gone all the way up. She's got one of them garage door openers where the door's got to be fully open before the light goes on. Most garage door opens, the light turns on as soon as you hit the button. My blood pressure's going up, people. I'm gonna call it a stream here. If I can get the damn outro music to play. Yes, friends, we will meet again tomorrow night, somewhere around the same time. You know, Grumpy's got one of them floating schedules. I hope I didn't piss off any of my subscribers with my over-the-edge commentary, but I had to get some things off what little mind I've got left. Some of the shit just fried my ass, believe me. And with that, friends, I bid you a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will meet you again tomorrow night. Same station, somewhere around the same time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. See ya.